We will call this meeting to order for the MPO Policy Committee, December 12th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. We'll start with introductions to my right.
Scott Ferris, Monroe County Plan Commission. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Nate Nichols, City of Bloomington Public Works Department, and I'm a proxy for Adam Waston, City of Bloomington Public Works Director.
Doug Horn with the Bloomington Public Transit Corporation Board of Directors.
Lisa Ridge, Monroe County.
John Kennedy, Citizens Advisory Committee.
Jody Madeira, County Commissioner.
Andrew Seabor, serving as proxy for Mayor Thompson.
Hope East Osberg, Bloomington Common Council.
And online? Robin is still muted.
I can ask her to unmute, but that's...
There.
There. It kept telling me the host would not allow me to unmute. I'm Robin Bolte. I'm here for Chris Wallman. And like I said, we have...
Okay, we can hear you, sort of.
Okay.
Okay, and Jillian? You can't hear her either.
I mean, they all have the power to unmute themselves, so...
Now we do. Something just changed.
Yep. And we just see David Henry back, or no?
No, David Henry.
Okay. Moving to item 2, approval of the meeting agenda.
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. Any public comment? Seeing none. A roll call vote, please.
For the approval of the agenda, Nate Nichol,
Yes.
Doug Horn,
Yes.
Stossberg,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Madeira,
Yes.
Seabor,
Yes.
Ridge,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Bolte.
She's muted, but she shook her head yes, but I don't know that that would count.
We were able to kind of barely hear you, Robin, so if you unmute next time, we can get it to count. But if not, that's okay. We're fine on numbers.
And vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 3, approval of minutes for September 12th, 2025.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Scott?
I don't know if you can call up the minutes. Can you?
Yeah, it's in the packet right here.
And can you I really have a question more than anything else. And I can talk about it later in the meeting, or I can talk about it now. And it's under report from MPO staff. It should be on page, I think it's 5. Yeah, next page. And what I'm talking about is paragraph E. So, and this is back in September. If you remember, most folks can remember that we had a discussion in this body about end-of-year TIP funding, and we're talking about projects that are federally funded, but the money is unspent, and how we take and move that money around within this MPO, and whether there was a process or not. And of course, what we were told is there was not a process. Some of us did meet with the Planning and Transportation Director and talked about this. And I honestly don't remember this being brought up in the minutes, but it probably was, and I just didn't hear it. The question I have is, what is the status of that document?
What is the status of it? It was an initial draft write-up of what the existing process is at this time. So even though the process wasn't documented, there is a process by which things happen and funds are distributed, but this is a way to write that up, and this was a start at writing that up and making it more transparent. In the future, hopefully that information will be in the top tip document itself. But this is this was an initial write-up, and it's something that,
So devil's advocate, is that process published now?
it's not formally published in any way, no.
Okay, and the follow-up question would be, is this body going to get a chance to review that process before it goes final?
It may not necessarily be finalized in any way. It's not necessarily a policy as much as it is how things are done. It will become formal once that process is put in the tip document, and that will happen next year.
So the
in 2
plan is
years.
to take whatever has been developed and to put it in the tip document itself.
And then you guys get to
And then
review
this
it.
body would be given the opportunity to take and review it and whatever, comment, and approve it hopefully,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But as we mentioned when this was shown in the packet, this is the initial write-up, and if you guys have thoughts or comments about it, you're welcome to share them with
Well,
us.
my point is that the minutes were back in September, October, November, December. And I don't think, I certainly, let me ask the question, has this body seen that draft document? Up here, these people sitting up here, all of us, seen that document?
Yeah, it was in the packet in September, right?
I don't believe that we have seen that document. I believe,
Were you in attendance in September?
yes, but that, you didn't take and present that document in September, as I recollect. I think you just said that you're going to be doing that.
No, it was in the September packet.
Huh.
So I guess I can add, the last thing that I received on it was sent from David Heidel. And it had the document attached, and it said, please find the attached written standard operating procedures describing the MPO's handling of federal funds, exchanges, or trades. The SOP mirrors the funds exchange process of Indiana's other MPOs and aligns with NDOT guidance. That's the last information I got.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a follow-up, was that SOP coordinated with this body here?
It was in the packet on September 12th, as is noted on the minutes on pages 30 and 31. I have all of this packet saved on my computer, and I'm looking at it right now.
I take that as a note. My question is that did we get a chance to chop on it? Were there other iterations, or was it just published?
It was shared as informational purposes only on how the current process is, and then it was shared via email with Lisa and Andrew, and they have given feedback, but the next, draft or changes to it have not yet been completed yet.
Okay, with respect, the point I'm trying to make is that there was an SOP that was published. I would argue that certain people were included in that review process. In the review process, the chopping of it and adding edits and going through an iterative process. And I don't believe that everybody on this body here was given a chance to do that. Now, I take for face value what you said, that once it's, that this SOP, now that it's published, will be included in a tip document, and we'll get a chance to take and see it again and either comment, review, or not approve, et cetera. Correct?
Yes, correct.
I think that's correct.
Yes, what was shared in September is how it's currently, how the current process is done and has been done.
Thank you. I have nothing else to add about the minutes.
Any public comment on the motion for approving the minutes of September 12th? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Ridge,
Yes.
Madeira? Am I saying your name right? Okay. Nickel,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Strasburg,
Yes.
Kinsey,
I don't think they can unmute.
I don't know why. It says host not allowed. Oh, my bad. Hold on one second. Can you try again, Kinsey?
Yes, now I can.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry about that. Bolte, maybe.
Yes.
Thank you. Ferris,
Yes.
Seabour,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right.
I've turned it all the way up.
Communications from the chair or vice chair?
The Citizen Advisory Committee met last month, about the middle of the month, and recommended to that the Policy Committee approve the TIP amendments that we'll be looking at today.
I don't have anything. It's the end of the year. Wish everybody a happy holiday season, safe travels. Sounds like it's going to be a little messy tomorrow and really cold. So, any reports from officers or committees? We just had John's. Nate?
Yes, let me provide an update from the Technical Advisory Committee. We met in November as well, November 19th, and reviewed the items proposed on the new business section of our agenda and recommended approval. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on, reports from the MPO staff.
It might also, yeah. Okay, the first item is, this is kind of a restatement. We did share this at the previous meeting, but we're just kind of restating it because the policy, or the Technical Advisory and Citizen Advisory Committee saw it just this past month. In September, Pat shared that the MPO received INDOT federal and INDOT's approval and Federal Highway Administration's approval of the fiscal year 2026-2030 TIP. That was received at the end of August. So the TIP is now, the 26 to 30 TIP on our website is now the official guiding document for utilizing, the federal funds given to the MPO. Item number 2, or item B, there was a fatality at 17th Street, and I'll just pause briefly after each item if anyone has questions. Item B, there was a fatality at 17th Street and SR 4546 bypass earlier this year. It was a crash that involved a car and a motorcycle. And so previously, before that, prior to that crash, the left turn lane from northbound on the bypass turning left onto 17th was a flashing left arrow. INDOT staff have changed that light to simply just show a solid red or a solid green light now. So there is no longer a flashing left turn yellow arrow. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but this is just an FYI about that. Item C, Just to let you know, so the City of Bloomington's College and Walnut Street project, which is slated to receive federal funds through the MPO in the next 5 years, they hosted 2 public open house sessions during the last week of October, wherein a couple possible designs were displayed and the public could submit their comments. Staff also did some outreach on the streets by tabling, and they also opened an online feedback form, which did close on December 1st, but I hope that you all got a chance to complete that survey or complete that form if you'd like. If you didn't, the design alternatives are still linked on the website, so feel free to submit any comments you have directly to Ryan Roebling in the Planning and Transportation Department. Item D, MPO staff coordinated with Indiana Traffic Incident Management to hold a training on TIM, Traffic Incident Management, in City of Bloomington Council Chambers on October 24th. We had individuals from City of Bloomington Fire Department and the Risk Department, Ellettsville Fire Department, and Monroe County Health Department all participated in the training. This was just an initial attempt to do some TIM training in Monroe County to offer that. Currently, as of July 2025, TIM training is only required for new EMS personnel. It's not currently required for law enforcement, even though law enforcement does take that role of incident commander in traffic responding in traffic incidents. So we continue to encourage all local responders, communication, EMS, fire rescue, law enforcement, towing and recovery, because the towing operations are actually the group of people who are second highest on the fatality list when it comes to secondary crashes happening after a primary crash, because they're just kind of left there at the end to tow the car and they're kind of unprotected. So the highest fatalities will be law enforcement. So, feel free to reach out to us or reach out to Indiana TIM, and organize a training for any of your local personnel. It would be great to get more law enforcement involved, and I'm hoping that the Bloomington Fire Department helps make that connection. The Indiana TIM also offers a Train the Trainer workshop for responders if anyone wants to lead those trainings locally. If you want to read more about traffic incident management, there's a flyer in the packet. Item E, presentation to City of Bloomington Common Council. The MPO was asked to present at the council meeting in October. Specifically, the council was interested in hearing what a new pedestrian infrastructure has been supported by MPO funds in the past and proceeding into the future. And they were also interested in new NDOT projects, or upcoming NDOT projects involving pedestrian infrastructure. So there's a copy of the presentation in the packet just for your general information. I will highlight a couple slides from it. So these are kind of the tallies from 2018 to 2025. 25 projects received funding, 21 of them involved bicycle and pedestrian improvements. And then this is a tally of, or this is a chart showing I don't know why that screen went black. This is a chart showing yeah. There's also a chart in the packet showing funding that has gone out through the, federal funding that has gone out through the MPO since 2018. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Page 22 of that briefing, please.
22
Page 22.
of the packet.
Yep. Let's start with the one on top. The dealing with stand by for a second. I mean, we'll start with the one on the bottom. I got them in the wrong order here. I'm talking about 45, 46, Pete Ellis Drive, et cetera. And I don't know if you can answer this question or not. It's on page, I'm sorry?
Here.
I can't hear you. Say again?
It would really help if you could speak more into the microphone because it's really hard to hear you down here.
So page 22, the chart on the bottom, dealing with the road and pedestrian improvements between 45, 46 bypass and Pete Ellis Drive. The letting date has been pushed now till, well, in 26. I think it's going to happen till January of next year now. And the issue remains the right-of-way with the Postal Service building there, the post office, and the fact that evidently NDOT has been petitioning to, if that's the right word, the Postal Service in Washington since, I think, 2022. I may be wrong, but I think that's the date. Any update on that?
That's the latest update. That's the latest update I have.
Okay. I would just make the observation that that's pretty extensive for the government to take and delay it this long. I realize there's a bureaucratic process it has to go through, but this is 2025 and we're soon going to be 2026.
Can I say something? I was in a meeting yesterday with the commissioner. They are going to change the design very minimally to work around the post office because we have had it at the Attorney General's office. And so we are going to work around the post office and design around it. And it is still going to letting on the next available, I believe it's April now. And we don't plan on it moving. So I think we're going to be okay with it.
So if I could ask the question, when do you anticipate, maybe you said it, but I couldn't hear what you said. What's the anticipated letting date of the contract now with that workaround?
April 8th.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Next one I have a question about is, and it's on page 23, top portion, and it's the road and pedestrian improvements between Pete Ellis Drive and North Russell Road. Could you pull that up, please?
So I'm not sure, I'm just not sure what document you're looking at the moment because
I'm looking at the briefing. This is the briefing that you gave the city council. Those charts.
okay.
That's the topic we're talking about. And it's page 23, top portion. Oh. All right. And the question I have is that they say the anticipated construction, it's a little bit further down on the chart, is FY 29. This particular project has been started and stopped, and now it's started, and the letting date has been pushed. And the last date that I had was fiscal 31. And I see fiscal 29, which is, if that's the case, this is good news because it's moving in the right direction instead of being pushed out further. So my question is, I guess it's for NDOT, is it really FY 29, the letting date?
No, I think that, well, Robin can speak to that if she wants, but I think that move to 2031 happened after we made this presentation packet,
All right.
so.
Okay, noted. Now, the last question I have is that this was presented to the city council. Was it also presented to the county council and the county commissioners?
The city council made a specific request for us to come speak to them on this topic.
Okay, so the answer is no. It was not presented to the county council or the county commissioners. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, actually, so if, later in the agenda, if you click on the project update link, it will take you to my spreadsheet. Let me try and share it here. This is the latest spreadsheet with all the latest updates in it. So Pete Ellis Road to Russell Road has a letting of 7/14/2032, as we last heard. That's this item right here.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Item F. The Indiana Department of Transportation is currently in the process of updating their 2050 Long-Range Transportation Plan. INDOT is required by federal legislation to develop, adopt, and implement a long-range transportation plan in much the same way we are required to do that. And similarly, it is a policy-based plan that is used to guide the development of Indiana's transportation 20 years into the future. So one way they are collecting data for their plan is a public survey. If you have any comments or insight about local traffic conditions, environmental, safety, bike and ped, transit, developments, bridge and pavement that you want to share with INDOT, please complete that online survey before December 20th, and it should be linked in the packet. Item G is just an FYI. A memo is provided in the packet showing the administrative modification to the TIP that MPO staff approved on September 18th. This was for INDOT's intersection improvement project at West SR 45 and Flatwoods Drive. So INDOT's requested change was to increase fiscal year 26 PE HSIP funds from $400,000 to $511,300. That increased the total project cost by 5%. And MPO staff did not bring this item to committees for voting because it qualified as an administrative modification, which doesn't require committee approval, but we still share the modifications with you. Item H. I did send out an email a couple weeks ago with the calendar year 2026 schedule for the policy committee. Hopefully everybody got it. There are a few changes that were made to the schedule for next year. Those changes include the policy committee meeting time was moved to 10:30 a.m. on Friday instead of 1:30. The policy committee meeting was moved to the same week of the month as the other two MPO committees, which is the fourth or the last week of the month. And then the November meeting for all 3 committees will occur the week after Thanksgiving instead of the week before Thanksgiving, which is often what's been done in the past. So, no voting has to occur on this schedule. However, we welcome any serious concerns that you have about this change, because I know that it has been the way it's been for a while. You can share those changes through directly with us or at this meeting. Okay, item I.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Who proposed the 10:30? Because I know when I've been here in the past, it was usually discussed at the policy committee if the time still worked for the board at the current board. So who made the decision to move it to 10:30?
It was moved to accommodate a couple people.
On the policy board?
Yes.
Was everybody given that same opportunity?
No.
Okay.
But if there are concerns, we're open to changing it back.
It's just, I serve on a lot of boards, and it just surprises me that the whole board was not interacted with for that type of decision instead of just a couple members.
I understand the bylaws do say that, that MPO staff are responsible for creating the schedule and that voting doesn't have to occur. But I am sorry that an email wasn't sent out to everybody. If there is an interest in keeping it at its current time, of course, we're open to that.
Well, it sounds like it was already decided upon, and that a vote is not required.
Well, it's not, but we're still presenting this as, please let us know if you have concerns, and we will keep it at 1:30 if most of the policy committee is interested in that.
Thank you.
How do you want us to express our opinion on that? Do you want to poll the committee now, or do you want email, or what do you want?
Can leave that up to you guys if you want to make that decision here and now for the whole committee, or if you'd like me to email, I can do that.
And Madam Chair, could we poll the board on the opinion of the board
Sure.
on this issue?
Do you have any comments, thoughts at 10:30, or I'm sure it depends on accommodations of the room also, correct? The scheduling of this room?
The room is available, yeah.
Okay.
So educate me real quick. What are we suggesting we change here? Just
I just raised the question that it's the first time that I've been on this board for just 10 years, and it was never just thrown out that the meeting got changed by 2 people requesting it be changed. That's, I really don't have a problem of it going to 10:30, but I guess I don't agree with the way that it was reached when it was not a board decision, and everybody is affected with that decision, not just 2 people. Or why there wasn't an email that it was proposed. So when the staff was approached by these 2 people on the board, why there wasn't an email sent to the board asking for a poll of if it fits everybody's schedule too.
So the question I have, and maybe you said it, I just didn't, I'm having a hard time hearing. What's the rationale on 10:30 versus 1:30? Why are you changing the time? You probably said that, I just didn't hear it.
Individuals who travel for this meeting
Individuals.
requested that it occur in the morning rather than the afternoon. But that being said, sometimes those individuals do call in via Zoom for the meeting, but there is a limit to how many times in a row one can call into a meeting.
And I respect that for the traveling part. I'm just questioning the way that it happened. I just think it would have been considerate to reach out to the whole board and see how it affects everybody. And if everybody was okay with the new proposed time. Again, to my knowledge, it's been at 1:30 for 20 plus years. And then all of a sudden, we're just told that it's changed to 10:30. So.
I have one question, if I may, that I actually exchanged emails with Katie about this earlier because I thought it actually could have been a mistake where a stray 0 got entered into the calendar announcement. So it was supposed to be 1:30, but it indicated 10:30. But she confirmed that indeed it was 10:30. And I am supportive of the staff as specified in the bylaws, setting the meeting time and considering the staff who are most involved in it as setting the time. I just think it is important to clarify with people that this is a change so that we're not surprised by it. And I agree, there probably is a level of courtesy that could have been extended to notify people that there is a request for the meeting to be changed based on the needs of some important participants, and not that anyone is more important than others, but I think those who are traveling and who are required to be here, it is a consideration I'd be willing to entertain. But I guess I'm okay with this shift in meeting time per the bylaws indicating that the staff sets the meeting time, but I think there could have been a little more notice put forward. Thank you.
Would you like me to, there may never be a meeting time that fits everybody's schedule. But that being said, would you like me to email and do a formal poll, or would you like to do a poll?
Again, I'm okay with the 10:30. I have no problem with that. I would 100% agree with Jillian. It would have been nice to have a little bit of notice that this was changing, because we all have different meetings, we all attend different meetings, and this is a very important meeting for Monroe County and Bloomington and the transit in Ellettsville. And I get the traveling part. It just would have been nice for a heads up that the staff was going to change the meeting time with no notice. So.
I recommend you send out an email and with a poll. I don't think you're not going to get a solution here today from this body, I don't think. So just send out an email and ask what they think. So that's what I would recommend.
I can still do that. Any other comments about the schedule? Okay, and like I mentioned, if you, let's see, if you click on the link in the agenda, you can see the latest project updates. Next time I will include a screen grab of that in the packet. But just to highlight a couple updates for these projects that are receiving MPO, federal funds through the MPO. For Monroe County's superstructure replacement on Eagleson Avenue over the Indiana Railroad, the tree clearing was completed in October. Monroe County's Dillman Bridge project near SR 37. They've completed a soil bearing test and environmental reviews are in progress. For Monroe County's Old SR 37 and Dillman Road intersection improvement project, a notice to proceed with preliminary engineering and design was sent to the consultant. INDOT's project on the bypass between I-69 and Kinzer Pike, the J-turns, this is a little bit dated, but the J-turns are completed and the westbound ramp to Arlington is now open to traffic. The SR 45 10th Street between Pete Ellis and the bypass, the letting date has been shifted to February 2026, which it sounds like it might have changed again, based on what Robin said. City of Bloomington's B-Line extension project from Adams to 17th. The remainder of the path along the railroad section just west of Adams was just a few weeks ago paved and is not necessarily formally open yet. There's still finishing work, but the whole path is there now, and that's exciting. City of Bloomington's Dunn Street multi-use path project, they had a site walk, and staff are coordinating with utilities for stormwater and finalizing the right-of-way limits. City of Bloomington's High Street multi-use path and intersection improvement project, the letting date was moved to March of 2026. The City of Bloomington's downtown curb ramps Phase 5 project, the RFP for preliminary engineering was posted, and City of Bloomington's West 2nd Street project from Walker to Beeline. Utility relocations are in progress, and a contract was awarded for construction. But there's more updates in the list that you can see. Okay, just a reminder that many of you are proxies, but just a reminder that all of the policy committee positions are dictated by the bylaws and are according to your role. And so if you are a proxy for currently, or if you fall on this membership list here, okay, sorry about this, then make sure you talk to the person you're being a proxy for and let us know if you intend to be a proxy for 2026 or alternate representation, or if you cannot attend the meetings, please let us know who your proxy will be, your alternate representation will be, or you can just send a proxy for every email or every meeting. And then finally, item K, those are just some links to the INDOT's electric vehicle infrastructure plan, just for your information as a result of our conversation at the September meeting. They do have a subscription service where you can receive updates to it if that's of interest to you. But those are just for your information. And it's related to a project that's in the TIP for NEVI funding for the state of Indiana. There is a proposed charging facility for Bloomington. We are on a potential list to receive that funding, but it's kind of stalled right now.
The NDOT CY 2026 safety targets.
Okay, so as part of the National Safety Performance Management System, the Federal Highway establishes 5 critical performance measures for the State Department of Transportation's and the MPOs. And so these safety performance measures are also called targets, and they include number of fatalities, fatality rate per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, number of serious injuries, the rate of serious injuries per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, and the number of non-motorized fatalities and non-motorized serious injuries. And so the Federal Highway uses these targets to assess whether the state DOTs and the MPOs have met or made progress toward meeting the targets. And so every year, the state of Indiana sends out or releases their statewide targets for the calendar year. And so INDOT's targets for the calendar year 2026 call for a 2% straight line reduction from the 5-year average for each target. And so the exact numbers of each target for 2026 are 794.7 total number of fatalities, 0.992 rate of fatalities, 2,965.5 number of serious injuries, 3.7 rate of serious injuries, and then 462.96 number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. And so most of you should remember, because we had to redo this in February, or January, February of the beginning of this year, but each MPO has 180 days to endorse these targets or to develop their own targets using methodology approved by the Federal Highway. And so in the past, we have adopted INDOT's targets, and I believe some folks will remember Ms. Jillian Kinsey will remember how we did that in the past. But we are asking for policy committee's adoption for these targets.
Okay, any discussion?
I have a point of discussion since Katie mentioned the concerns in the past. Is it okay if I mention them now?
Sure.
So the annual discussion on this very morbid and safety-related topic has been that we should not accept these targets because they should be zero in terms of the targeted number of fatalities. But recognizing that while we would hope that it's zero, that is probably not attainable in any given year, but that's something that is being worked toward. So I at least appreciate a 2% straight line reduction that's been proposed by INDOT. But I do feel like it's always important to lodge our concern about the perception of accepting any number of fatalities that's beyond zero. So I think this is, it's a challenging topic to talk about. So I just want to acknowledge that challenge, but would ultimately suggest that we do accept the proposed targets or endorse them, what the proposed target is, according to this. But, our own target should probably be zero. And that's just as a matter of history. We could take it as an endorsement, I'm willing to make a motion to endorse the target given that consideration, unless someone else has another proposal that they're putting forward.
Thank you.
2% straight line reduction corresponds with Common Council's resolution last year in support of the Safe Streets for All plan for Bloomington that envisions that zero number in 2039. Has anybody done the math on that?
That's at this time, but I can look into that for you.
Okay, I would be interested in seeing the math on that and that kind of chart to know if we do have those targets of, that mirrors the INDOT targets, if that target brings us to that zero in 2039. And if it does, that's great. And if it doesn't, then I guess my proposal would be something that does. There's a lot of math in there, you know, if you have any high school students that wonder, like, when am I ever going to use math in real life? There's a scenario for you right there.
What if this is tabled, or what's the timeline on this?
They would like, NDOT wants to know by February, and so we could discuss this again in January. I don't know if that would be enough time for us to develop our own targets according to federal highways guidelines. But we could attempt and put it off until the January meeting.
Nate?
I will mention that the 2025, the calendar year 2025 targets for NDOT is also 2% reduction, and so far, the state is meeting that target, but that doesn't include November and December's data yet.
Okay.
I'll just add, we had a pretty lengthy conversation at the TAC about this very topic too, and the concern was that, you know, it's difficult to look at expected fatalities, and even if there's a reduction, it was a hard pill for us to swallow too. But we also recognize the position that the MPO is in and that NDOT is in as well. So it is safety targets, it is a decline in the target, and I think there's a lot of good intention there. Obviously, the language is, you know, difficult for a lot of people to swallow. It's a difficult pill to swallow, but our solution at the TAC was we approved this, but as was mentioned previously, we did have a kind of a disclaimer that although we would prefer it to be zero, we understand NDOT has targets, and we had some foreign language that we've used, and I believe in the past we've used that very same language at the policy committee level too. So that would be an option. We could recycle the language we've done in the past, because this is something annually that NDOT does require us to approve, and we've had this concern in prior meetings. So just an option that we've done prior.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I know we have had the discussion many times, and I think we have added in the motion disclaimers on that it's the board's recommendation would want to be zero, but we understand, you know, there are methods to follow to the policy. So I felt like kind of Jillian had made a type of a motion towards that, so I didn't know if everyone heard that or if anyone wanted to second her motion on that.
I'd be willing to formally make the motion to approve these or endorse these targets with the, you know, I'm sure that in the end our communication just becomes a yay or nay, but that we would endorse these targets, and unless, as Commissioner Strasburg indicated, we table this and work on proposing our own targets at a January meeting based on the math that would get us to the zero by 2039. I don't know if that was a serious suggestion by Commissioner Strasburg or a good mathematical thought exercise. That was a very serious suggestion. And I would guess that our planning department, who deals most directly with the Safe Streets for All plan, might actually be super helpful in figuring out some of that, and at least, you know, being able to be like, yeah, it would be like figuring out how big a lift it would be to make that comparison. And it would be a relatively small lift to figure out our numbers and just determine if the 2% straight line reduction over, you know, that 14, 15-year period
would work. Yeah, and that at least I would be interested in doing. I don't really want to, I don't know what that background is. I don't really want to vote on this today just because we don't have to in terms of timeline, and I think that it would be good to look into that. And I also think that it would be better to have a more formulated motion if we do decide to just endorse their numbers with some kind of caveat language. I think that it would be better to, I don't know what that background is right now, but I think that it would be better to have that thought out better than we can think it out on the fly right now.
So given that discussion, I would motion to table this until our January meeting.
Excuse me. These are our statewide targets. Is it inappropriate for us to, or would it be inappropriate for us to to approve these at a state level, but have our own targets within our own jurisdiction that that might be more stringent and more focused toward these objectives in the future that the member suggests?
Yes. Yeah.
I hesitate trying to dictate to the state what to do, but I certainly could embrace a local effort that is more focused toward the zero objective.
Andrew?
I just appreciate the discussion and what everybody's saying. I think every year when we vote on this, it's one of the most awkward votes that I think we all make. So just recognizing that, I think also just being an engineer and seeing a number of fatalities listed with not a whole number, a number of serious injury is not a whole number. Like, it just makes me think whoever wrote this wasn't fully thinking what they were writing. So just recognizing that, I don't know what there is to do with it. But I think another interesting question, if we are to table this, that I'd be interested in knowing is what happens if the state doesn't meet these goals, and what were this year's goals, and how are we lining up with those, just to understand what does this mean, what does it do? I'd just be kind of curious to what is the practical impact of this? And that's maybe more for somebody at INDOT to be able to answer than anybody in this room, but just throwing that all out there.
I do think that's a good idea. We do discuss the same topic every year on this plan, and the whole board really feels the same and don't like committing to that number of fatalities. I do like the idea, if we can, supporting NDOT's plan, and it is their plan, but having our own local numbers of what we feel that that we could support. I don't know if that's something outside of this, but we do have a motion on the floor to table, and I feel like that's kind of the direction I'm hearing from the board, and then maybe work with staff on some of the suggestions that were made for the January meeting.
Of course.
So do we have a second on tabling?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Any public comment? And a roll call vote on that?
Could you restate the motion, please?
Lisa, I'm happy to do it if that's helpful. Just, the motion is to table action on the INDOT safety targets for calendar year 2026 until our January meeting.
Kennedy? Seabour,
Yes.
Madeira,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Ridge,
Yes.
Strasburg,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Nickel,
Yes.
and Bolte.
Yes.
Motion to table until January.
Hey,
Passes.
hello, Bannock is here.
Oh, hi, Jason.
Hi. Yeah, apologize for my tardiness. I was having technical difficulties, but I've actually been on for probably 45 minutes.
That's okay.
And
Would
I
you-
vote yes.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, we have to see your face to,
I've got my camera on.
There we go.
thanks, Jason.
Moving on to item B, 1 through 5.
Okay, there are 5 amendments proposed. The first is to add a new project. This is a request by NDOT. The project is ASHTO safety software. So NDOT currently uses Road Hat software, which is a custom software developed by Purdue University to do crash analytics. They aim to purchase the ASHTO safety software package, which meets a national standard and is used by 40 DOTs in the country. The ASHTO software has a higher capacity of functions, does crash queries, network screening, predictive analysis, reporting, trend analytics, and more. And so NDOT would get this statewide software, would get a statewide software license, and then give some access to all the communities in Indiana to it, free of charge or not, depending on how you want to look at that. But we don't have any direct costs that we have to give for this. Do you want to do these separately or all together?
If you want to describe them all together, it's
Okay.
fine.
The second is an amendment, or the addition of a new Bloomington Transit project. So just as a reminder, the federal funds that the MPO gets every year does not go to Bloomington Transit, but their projects do have to be in the TIP in order for them to receive funding from the Federal Transit Administration. And so they would like, the Bloomington Transit would like to add a project for EV mobile chargers for the amount of $350,000. Item 3 is Bloomington Transit would like to add a project for S1 guard deflectors at $125,000. Amendment 4, Bloomington Transit would like to add to the TIP a project for a new administrative and maintenance facility. And Bloomington Transit would like to amend, update their funding table for the purchase of replacement buses and charging equipment.
So what you said was that those additions from Bloomington Transit, like there's not really any money that is coming from us for any of those, but they have to be in the TIP so that BT is able to access other grant funds?
Yes,
Okay, great, thanks.
yes. So in the TIP, when you look at this table of funding, funding allocations, where is it? When we talk about the money that's given out to the local public agencies, Monroe County, and City of Bloomington. That's all coming from this annual revenue that we get from all of these federal highway funding programs. And the BT projects are just in the TIP so they can get federal transit funding programs.
So it would be like a whole different chart of funding sources that were specific to transit related.
It would be, but we don't have
Yeah.
authority to distribute
Right.
that.
Right, so
yeah.
we don't have that in our chart, but that's what it would be like in theory in terms
Yeah.
of understanding where, because I was like, where is this $47 million coming from? I don't get it. But that makes more sense. It's coming from a completely exterior source that isn't related to anything else that the MPO does particularly.
Yes, but in theory, you still have a say on the types of
Right.
projects that federal transit, or that
Right, that they would be
Bloomington
allowed to
Transit would
pursue
like to
even.
fund.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Would the motion just approve the resolution 2026-03? Resolution fiscal year 2026-03?
Yes.
I'll move to approve resolution fiscal year 2026-03 as presented.
A second? Any more discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Bannock?
Yes.
Okay, now go back to driving.
I'm parked.
Okay. Nickel?
Yes.
Horn?
Yes.
Stassberg? Yes. Ridge?
Yes.
Ferris?
I think Stassberg was called and I didn't actually say anything, so
Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry.
I'm not sure who that was down there that said yes for me.
Sorry.
Stassberg?
Yes.
Ferris?
Yes,
Kennedy?
I heard that time, so.
Yes.
Madeira?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Bolte?
Yes.
And Seabour?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Do we have any public comment on matters not included on the agenda? Not seeing any. Any communications from committee members for matters that are not on the agenda?
Big thank you to the City of Bloomington Public Works crews, the Monroe County Highway Department crews, Ellisville street crews, everybody out battling the snow. They had a really long night last night, and they're in for a pretty long weekend. But they're all doing a great job and much appreciated.
Thank you, Nate. Upcoming meetings, Technical Advisory Committee meeting is Wednesday, January 28th at 10 a.m. Citizens Advisory Committee, January 28th at 5:30 p.m. And Policy Committee meeting Friday, January 30th at 10:30 a.m. All these meetings are hybrid, and we are adjourned.
To be determined time for the Policy Committee meeting.
Correct. And move for adjournment.
Thanks, Lisa.